Hello guys, welcome to this video tutorial. My name is Evans, and in this video tutorial I'm gonna start looking at the 2014 October-November exam. We'll be doing paper 3 in this video on request. I understand a number of you are writing paper 3 tomorrow, and so some of you have requested me to do the 2014 October-November paper 3 exam, and so just practice. I understand, as I was trying to go through this paper earlier on, that it is a very rich paper in terms of the information that is required for you both to deal with data analysis as well as web authoring section. So just by going by that, I was able to conclude that actually there are many concepts that this paper is actually bringing out, which can be of help as you go into the paper 3 exam tomorrow. Nevertheless, this is not the only material that you should study, and watching this video doesn't mean that you're going to pass the exam, but it will just help you add up onto the knowledge that you have acquired so far. So I recommend that even after watching this video, don't be complacent. Keep on studying, keep on watching more videos on YouTube, and if I have time, I'll put up another video. Someone has requested me to do another video on the 2015 June paper 3 exam. I'll see if I do have time, guys, to do that. So I must stay here that this video is going to be a bit lengthy, because I'm trying to utilize as much time as I can, not just making short clips here and there, but I want to utilize as much time as I can so that I attend to another video that somebody has requested. So this video, I'll break it into 2 parts. I'll do the first section under 40 minutes or so, and then I'll do the last section in about 30 minutes or so. Hopefully I'll be able to manage that time. Okay, so let's get started. So this is my question paper, and I do have my files on my desktop as my work area, and so these are the files that I've downloaded for this paper, and I'll try to put up a link under this video where you can get some of these files, which website you can get them, and then you can be able to follow along. Okay, so let's go to our question paper. Right, so step number 1, create a new word process document. Make sure your name, center number, and candidate number will appear on every page of this document. So I'm going to create a new document, and we're going to insert blank 3 columns, and then, as usual, Chikasa Evans. So I'm gonna just try it as much as possible to be very fast so that we do another video before the time I have finishes. Okay, so that one. Next, save this evidence document in your work area as N evidence, N14 evidence, followed by your candidate number. For example, N14 evidence 999. Okay, so let's save this. Go to File, Save As, Browse, and I'm gonna put it in my work area. So that's 2014 October November, and I'll put it inside there, and I'll call it N14 evidence. Okay, and then my candidate number at the end. Okay, right, so we're done with this one. We go to the next step. Locate and download the following files from the website. Okay, so this step I'll skip it because I already have the files. Okay, so I must say here that depending on the school where you're coming from, sometimes the school will provide these files beforehand, and sometimes the school will require you to download these files. So just set up the setup that you have in your school that matters. Okay, so you should know, I'm sure your teacher should have told you whether you'll be downloading the files or you actually be given the files, and then you can just work with those files that will be given. Okay, so the scenario is that you are going to create, rather to prepare a spreadsheet for Tawara Cycles, which will be an invoice to send to a customer. This invoice has 5 items that have been ordered. Okay, so the contents of this invoice may change, and so you just need to make sure that your formula work if the data changes. Okay, so you should display all currency values in dollars, very important, correct to 2 decimal places. Very important. Okay. Step 3, using a suitable software package, load the file n14invoice.csv, and so you save this file as a spreadsheet. Okay, so okay, n14 invoice is that one. So I'll open it using a suitable software package, Excel, and you notice this is a CSV file, so we need to save it as a workbook, okay, or as an Excel file. So you can tell right from here that it is a CSV file. So we have not been told to change the name, so just change the file type as an Excel workbook and save. Okay. Step 4, merge the cells A1 to F1 so that they become a single cell. So A1 is that one, to F1 is this one, and merge them so that they become a single cell. So merge and center. Okay. Next step, format the text in this cell so that it is a white 16-point serif font. Okay, so there are 3 things here, guys. The font size should be, rather the font color should be white. The font size should be 16 points, and the font style or font face should be a serif font. Okay, so that's very important that you pick up that from the text. Okay, so let's do these 3 things before we come to. So next is that we should have font color white, size to be 16, and text to be a serif font. So I'll pick up Times New Roman. So this shows you that this is white because you can't see any text here. If you had chosen maybe a color that looks like white, you would see that the text will be a little bit visible there. So format this cell so that it is center aligned and has a dark gray background. So center aligned, remember when it did merge and center, it automatically put this under center. So under background, we need to look for gray. So you need to be very careful because here it shows you white, and this shows you this is black. Okay, and you'll see that gray is actually the 3rd column. Okay, so it should be a dark gray. So this one is fine. Okay, I'll settle for this one. Okay, so that done. Next step, format the cells F2 to F6 so that they are right aligned. Okay, F2, this one, to F6, that one, so that they are right aligned. Okay. Next, in cell A9, replace the text candidate details here with your name, center number, and candidate number. Okay, A9 candidate details here. So this one, replace it with your name, center number, and your candidate number. So guys, what I'm gonna do is to actually enlarge the width of each cell so that my text is visible properly. So to do that, just select the entire table and just go in one of the boundaries between cell A and cell B, or column A and column B, or C and C, and C and D, or B and C, and just double click and you see that your cells will actually enlarge to accommodate the data that is existing in every single cell. Okay, so steps 7, in cell B11, use a function to count the number of item codes in this invoice. Okay, so remember, you are using the function to count. So you are using the count function, and then the field that you are counting actually item codes. So let's go back. Item code is this one. So we want to count these items that are under here. So guys, I must say here that there are 2 methods that you can use to count. You can use the count A, or you can use count. Count A counts every cell that is contains values, and count only the cells that have got numeric values in them. So these are not numeric values because you have m at the beginning and then a number at the end. So this is alphanumeric. So in that case, you're going to use count a. So equal to count a. Okay, and then you specify the range of the cells where you want to count. So I'm counting from B20 actually to B24. Okay, and that, so you count, there are 5 elements, so 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, so next, in cell B12, use a function to calculate the total number of units in this voice. So just by reading this, you are calculating, what are you calculating? The total. So the total in Excel, you're referring to the sum of something. So you're finding the sum of the number of units in this invoice. So let's go to our Excel. So units here. So we want to find the number of units, the sum of these units. Okay. So equal to sum, and then you specify the range again. So this is E20 to E24. Okay. And there you go, and the sum of these is actually 31. Next step, copy the contents of the file n14type.csv into A30 into cells A30 to B39 of your invoice. So let's go back to our work area, and the cell we're supposed to copy, I think it should be type N14 type. And we need to copy these. Okay, so the contents are just these. So right click and copy, then go back to this one and paste in A30. I think let's just verify in cells A30 to B39. So just go back there and put your cursor in cell A30 and right click and then go to paste. Okay, and it automatically put the other ones in this column. Use cells A31 to B39 to create a named range code type and show evidence of the creation of this named range in your evidence document. Okay, so from A31 to B39 we need to create a named range. Okay, so define name and call it type. Okay, so let's verify the name of the range is supposed to be called type. So before we even close this window, we get a screenshot of this and then paste it in our evidence. So this is step 10. Paste it there. Now you need to crop it so that only this window that defines the range is visible. I'm not going to do that for the sake of time. Yeah, so next step, hide rows 30 to 39. So let's go there, click OK, and we hide row 30 to 39. Okay, row 30, select like that, then click and hold and drag all the way down until you select that. Right click on the boundaries there and click hide. Okay, step 12, in cell C20, use a formula to look up the type of circle. Okay, so what you're looking up is the type of circle. Let's go to our work. So what you're looking up is the type here. Okay, just for the sake of this, I could unhide this table so that you'll be able, just for the sake of explaining something about VLOOKUP and all. Let me just unhide this whole section so that this table is visible. Okay, so what we are looking up for is actually the type. Now we are looking up from let me just read the question so that you get the sense. In cell C20, use a formula to look up the type of cell, or rather the type of cycle. Use the first character of the item code as the single lookup value and the named range type as the array. So remember, in VLOOKUP, there are different types of lookups. You have VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. In VLOOKUP, you're comparing data that is in vertical or that is in columns. Okay, and in HLOOKUP you're comparing data that is actually in horizontal or across, or in rows. Okay, so what we want is actually to use we've been taught to use the first character of the item code as a single lookup value. So if you go back to your Excel, item code is this one. So the first character we want to look up is M. Okay, so we need to use a function which is going to extract M from this code M0027. We just need to extract the first character, which is M, and then compare it with in this table array which we just created. So for example, the first M, when we match it with this table array, we expect where there is M to retrieve type. Okay, to retrieve the type, which is the second column. Okay, so we expect M to retrieve mountain, we expect R to retrieve road, we expect H to retrieve hybrid. Okay, I hope you understand what this is here. I just have to make sure that you guys understand this, so that when you go in your exam, really you don't stress about what is happening here. So instead of us to pick up these values or comparing M and M, we are comparing actually with a table array. Okay, so we look up the table array which we just created, which is the name that we defined, which is type. So we compare, is M corresponding to anything under type? If it is, can you retrieve the column that we specify, the value that is found in the column that we're going to specify? Okay, so let's do just that. So we use the first character of the item code as a single lookup value, and then the named range as the array, table array. So here we go equal to VLOOKUP, then we specify the lookup value. Now the lookup value is actually the first character of the item code. Now there are functions, guys, that are very important for you to understand. Let me just take time just to explain this, lest you come across this in the exam in future or anything. There is a function that is called left, okay, which returns the specified number of characters from the start of this text string. Okay, this is very important. So the other one is called right. It returns the specified number of characters from the end of a string. Okay, then you have also mid, which returns the characters from the middle of a text of a string. Okay, so suppose for example we have let's say a word such as VLOOKUP. Left will return the specified number of characters from the left starting from V, and then right to return the specified number of characters starting from P, and then middle or mid will return the middle value, which in this case will be this O, if we are starting from this V or from this P. Okay, so in our case, what we're interested is to return the leftmost character or the first character of B20. Okay, so then you need to specify the number of characters that you want. So if I say 3, which means I'll return the first 3 characters, MO or M00. Okay, now I want to return only the first character, which is M, so that I put in only B21. So it's going to return M, and then specify that one, close it, and then I need to specify the table array, which is type, and then you automatically see that it is type has been selected here and B20 has been selected, and then I need to specify the column index. Now guys, the column index is actually the value from the lookup value, or from the first element in the table array, the column that you want to retrieve the value from. Okay, so you start counting. The lookup value will be the first one. So in this case, the lookup value, which is M, or which is the code, will be column 1, and then the one that we want to return is type, which will be column 2. Okay, so that, guys, this is very important for you to understand. So the next one we want to write is whether it's going to return an approximate match or we want it to return an exact match. Now we've not been told to return an approximate match, so you need to select false to be able to return an exact match, and you need to put enter and then hit enter like that, and you see that M actually returns mountain. Okay, so that's it on that one. If you didn't understand, guys, just rewind the video a bit and go back and really get what I was trying to explain. Okay, so step 13, in cell D20, use a function to look up the unit cost of the cycle. Use the item code as the single lookup value, and then the file n14 cost.csv as the table array. So this function must include both absolute and relatives referencing, and must not include a named range. Okay, guys, this is very important. So what I'm gonna do, I'll find this file, okay, n14.csv, and go back here, which is costs. This one, I'm gonna open this this file with Excel. Okay, so this is what we want. So this is the file where we will be looking up the values that we want. So this is in other words the table array. Okay, so it ranges from A1 to A117. Okay, the last record is actually 117. So what you need to do is that you need to take note of the range here. Now, guys, I must state here that usually when you define a name, named range, let me just try to define a range here. I want you see that what happens is that you select first of all n14 costs, and then A2 to B whatever. Okay, so this if you are not going to define a range, a named range like that, this is the value that you need to use in your VLOOKUP function. Okay, so for example, let me just select the actual cells that we are going to need, and then I'll show you how they match with what I'm trying to talk about here. So let me just select all the way to 117. Okay, and then come on, not there. It keeps on going somewhere else. Okay, let's go up. Okay, let me just do this, pardon me. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is simply just right click on one of them. I'm not saying you should do this in the exam, I'm just trying to show you something so that you understand. So from this one to absolute B, absolute B, then absolute 117. Okay, so this actually is what we need to access this table or the table array. Okay, in this Excel sheet. Okay, so n14 cost exclamation mark $A $2 $B $117. This is how you create a named range. Okay, so this closed. I just wanted to show you that if we were creating a named range based on this one, would have done this, and what was important is what it says here, refers to, and then refers to this one. So I'm going to cancel this, and I'm going to go back to the Excel, this one, and then under unit cost, we want to retrieve the cost of the corresponding. So if it is 00002, the cost is 199. If it is 0005, the cost is 217. Okay, so what we are comparing is actually the unit cost of each code that we have. So this is the item code that you have. So let me go back to the question. So what we want is to use a lookup function to retrieve, okay, the unit cost of the cycle. We are going to use the item code as a single lookup value, and then the from the file n14 means costs.csv for the array. Okay, and then we must use absolute and relative cell referencing, and I'll show you just in a moment what that means. So let's start VLOOKUP. Okay, and then we need to specify the lookup value, which is the item code, which is B20, okay, which is that one. And then the array, we need to specify the name first of all of the file, remember this file is not part of this Excel sheet. We are importing it from the folder where it is existing together with this other file. So it's going to be N14 cost, okay, exclamation mark. We just need to verify that that's actually the file name. So let's just verify. It's supposed to be N14 cost, the small letter for cost. So I'm not sure if Excel is case sensitive, but let me just put small letter, and then we need to specify the range in this file in which we need to compare or come up with a table array. So in this case, we're using what is known as absolute referencing, okay, so that when we drag the cells, they don't adjust themselves, but we are talking about a definite fixed portion of range of cells that we want to access. This is what's known as absolute referencing. So we are talking about a absolute 2, and then let's just verify. So yeah, from A2 to actually B117, okay, to B117, there, that's the cells that we want to look up there, okay. So let me just well, this has messed up some stuff. It was trying to select these cells, and so where was I? Just close this. Yeah, so exclamation mark, and then the table array, $A, $2, full colony, $B, and $117. That's the range of the cells that we are specifying from that file. Next, we need to specify the column index, and the column index, like I showed you, that what we are retrieving is actually the values in the second row, or the second column rather, which is column B. So column B is 2, and then we need to retrieve false, which is an exact match, okay, and then hit on for some reason, I don't know why it had to pick N14 update and stuff. Just give me a moment, guys. It's not supposed to be that way. Let me just delete this one. It's supposed to be N14 costs, then exclamation mark. Now, for some reason, I don't know why it is attempting to open the file. Okay, I don't know why it is attempting to open the file in question. Let me just close this Excel file. Okay. Okay, so don't want to save this. Don't save. And then just come here, then erase this. So I don't know why it was attempting to open N14 cost, and then .csv. Could have forgotten the extension of the file, .csv. Okay, so N14 cost.csv. I think I should have forgotten the extension, and then just say Excel cannot update one or more links in this workbook. To update this, open the source link source file, and then edit links. Okay, to be sure all calculations updated. So press F9. So what this is saying is that the file is actually closed. So can you have the file opened? Okay, so this is why it has put in some path. So what I'm gonna do, guys, is to go back and open this file. Okay, costs, just open it with Excel. Okay, so once I have it opened, then I'm going to go back to my invoice, and then you will see that actually the value has showed up now. Okay, the reason was that the file was actually not open. Excel will not recognize a file when it is not opened. Okay, so yeah, so let me just go through what I did here, guys, because this is very important. The VLOOKUP function, then you specify the lookup value, and then you specify the table array. Now this is very tricky here, guys, to specify just this section here, because you need to specify the name of the workbook or the CSV file together with its extension. So when I forgot the extension, then it was kind of opening up a dialog window. So you go with n14 cost.csv and then exclamation mark, then you specify the absolute table array, okay, that you want. So what is going to happen, guys, is that when we copy or replicate this formula to drag and drop it to other sections or other cells, A2 to B117 will remain as A2 to B117. It won't change to A3 B118, A4 B119, A5 B120, A6 B121, something like that. It won't do that. It will always remain A2 to B117. This is what absolute referencing means. Okay, but this one is relative referencing. Okay, B20 is relative referencing, because when I drag and drop this formula, this one will change to B21 to suit this one. When I drag it, the formula to let's say to 22, record 22, this one will change to B22, this one will change to B23, B24, and so on and so forth. But this one will remain as it is. Okay. Okay, so usually when I finish explaining something very cardinal, I love to tell my student hallelujah. When they say amen, it means let it be so, it's been understood. All right, so I hope, guys, this has made sense. I'm sorry if I tried to cruise through. If you didn't understand, just go back and watch this. Doesn't matter how many times you have to watch it over and over and over. Okay, so let's not spend so much time on this one. So this function must include both absolute, which I've explained, and relative referencing, which I've also explained. We didn't use any named range here. Okay, we didn't use any named range. The reason, because the way it's supposed to use a named range is this part here. We actually, where it's supposed to be table array, we actually use the file name as well as the cells in that file which we want to access. Okay, so that's very important, guys. So step 14, in cell F20, calculate the total cost for this item. So F20 is what have I done? I've added something else. Okay, let me just press enter. And then F20 is this one. We need to calculate the total cost. So unit cost, or per one item, it's costing 13.69, and then we have 5 items being bought. So what would we do to find the total? We multiply each item price multiplied by the number of items that have been bought. So this is equal to D20 multiplied by E20. Okay, simple as that. Okay, next, replicate the formulas that have been entered in 12, 13, and 14 for each item. So what this means is that we need to replicate this formula beginning from here. So when we replicate this one, click and hold, then drag it there. Now I want you guys to see how the value that for B will change, and the value for the absolute referencing will change. So this is relative referencing. When I drag, you see that it will change all the way to 24, and this one will remain always absolute A2 to absolute B117. Okay, so let me go ahead and drag this one, and then you see how it will be changing above there. So okay, there you go. So check now, it is B21, B22, B23, B24 here, and then this other part remains the same. So that's what absolute and relative referencing do. Okay, so I'm gonna drag and drop those as well. So in cell F26, use a function to calculate the sum of the total column, which will be the invoice subtotal before any discount is applied. Okay, so that is, so invoice subtotal, which is here, and we want to calculate the sum of the item total. So specify the item total is F20 to F24. Okay, done. Next step, the company offers discount to customers based on the number of units they order. In cell F27, use a formula to calculate the discounts using the subtotal, number of units, and the 3 discount rates A, B, and C. Okay, so what this means is that we need to find a discount here. The discount A is 0.05, discount B is 0.1, discount C is 0.15. Now we want to find the discount based on this criteria. So the criteria is that we first of all have to multiply the subtotal by discount A, which is 0.01, if the units are less than, or the number of units. Now the number of units, guys, the number of units, don't confuse this number of units with these units here. Okay, the number of units being referred to is actually the one that we used on top here, which is this one, number of units, not these units that are indicated here, guys. I repeat, the number of units that are being referred to are not these units that are here, but these units that is written here, number of units. Okay, very, very important, because once you use these values, you're gone. Okay, you make a mistake that you live to regret. Okay, so don't do that. Okay, so let me go back here. So we're using the number of units. Okay, so discount A if the number of units are less than 5. Discount will be B if the number of units are between 5 and 19 inclusive, which means 5 and then 19. Okay, and then discount C if 20 or more units are sold. Now guys, this is talking about nested conditions. A number of you guys do struggle with nested conditions, and I'll do just help you to work around this. So what I'm going to start, first of all, we are told that the first thing, we should multiply the subtotal by this. So the first element you need to get is to retrieve the subtotal. Now the subtotal is actually this one here. When you just click on it, it is F26. So F26 multiplied by, then you need to multiply by the condition now that you need to set. So the condition is that if this we need to multiply by discount A if the number of units are less than 5. So we need to compare. The number of units is actually B12. So if B12 is less than 5, then we multiply by discount A. Discount A is B15. Okay, very important. Comma, what happens if the value is true? If the value is false? So the first part, B15, refers to if the value is true. But if the value is false, then we test the second option. Now this is what is called nested if statements. Okay, so nesting is one condition embedded within another condition. So what we are saying, if it is not less than 5, then it must be between 5 and 19. If it is not between 5 and 19, then it must be between or it must be above 20. Okay, so that's very important for you to know how to use nested conditions. Okay, so here we are now testing if B12 is actually between 5 and 19. Now guys, this is very important. You can say if B5 is less or equal to 20, that will still be fine, because equal to 19, that will be fine, because the last value to be tested will be actually the actual value 19, which is inclusive. So don't worry about testing between 5, because the 5 has been dealt with by the first condition that you tested here. The first condition here actually deals with the 5. So anything that, if it is not less than 5, then it is above 5 going all the way to less 19 or equal to 19. So the other option that you can do, you can make it less than 20. What this does is that it won't reach 20 because there is no equal to sign. It will actually reach 19. So there are two ways that you can go about this, guys. You don't even need to stress about this. So if it is less than 20, which means if it is equal to 19, last value to be tested, the value which is true is that we multiply discount B. So we retrieve B16. Okay, if it is not, the only option that remains, it can either be less than or equal to or above. So if it is not the first two options, you don't even need to test another if condition like this. No, you don't need to do that, please. You need just to close this if statement with B17, which is the last option. If it is not the first two, if it is not B15, it is not B16, the only value that we remain testing is actually B17. So we close with B17 and close again, and then hit enter, and you see a value is going to exist down there. Okay, so done with this step 17. Step 18, in cell F28, use the formula to calculate the invoice total, which is the subtotal less the discount amount. In other words, the difference between the subtotal and the discount amount. And then so let's go here. The subtotal is actually F26 minus F27, which is that, and then hit enter, and that will be it. Step 20, on the left in the header, enter the text invoice date followed by a space and then the automated date. Okay, so we need to put the text invoice date followed by space and then automated date. So let's go here, go to insert, in the header put invoice date, hit space, and then put the current date. Just hit on date. Then on the right you need to enter the text invoice time followed by space and then automated time. Now remember, there is a full colon at the end of the text. So on the right you need to enter invoice time, full colon in space, and then the current time, which is this one. Okay, right, so that done. Next step, save and print the spreadsheet showing the formula. You need to make sure that it is in landscape. The rows and column headings are displayed. The printout fits on 2 pages wide. Guys, take note here, 2 pages wide, not a single page wide. Okay, and the contents of the cells are the cells except those that were hidden in step 11 are fully visible. Okay, so I'm gonna hide back the contents. Remember, we unhid them so that we could see what was happening. So I'm gonna hide them back again. These columns. Okay, so I'm gonna select these columns and then hide them again. So select them and then hide them. Right click and hide. Okay, so then we need to select the table and click on the boundaries just to make sure that everything actually fits in line. Okay, and then we go back here. Now we need to save the document, so save it, and then we need to print. But at the time that we are printed, we need to make sure that it is in landscape orientation. The row and column heading are displayed, and the column fits, the printer fits on 2 contents. So we are done with this one. The contents of all the cells are fully visible. We just expanded the cells, and then let's just make sure that we go file. First of all, before we go file, we are printing to show only the formula. So this is very important. So go back here and go to formulas and then show formula. And then once you go to show formula, select the whole table and then double click on the boundary so that the formulas are fully visible in their respective cells. Okay, so that is very important. Next, we need to make sure that this when we go to file and then print, under page setup, we need to make sure that under sheet the rows and column headings are displayed. That's very important. And then we need to make sure that this is in landscape orientation. Okay, so the next thing, we don't want to worry about anything else. Okay, and then just make sure that you select A4 paper. If you're using A4 paper, it's very important also. So select A4 paper, and you see that there is a difference between letter and A4 paper. So this is A4 paper. And then let's just verify that everything we've put there. So we've put it in landscape, we've put the column and rows heading, we've put 2 pages, fits 2 pages wide, and then the contents of the cell are fully visible. So how you know it fits 2 pages wide? Because you will see it shows one of 2. And if you go down there, you will see that it continues. E and F are on the last page. Okay, so that's fitting 2 pages wide. Okay, so with that said, then go ahead and hit print. Yeah, just go ahead and hit print, and then you'll print your work there. So next thing, next step, Step 22, print the invoice showing the values. Make sure that the printer fits on a single page. This time it fits on a single page, and the contents of the cell are actually fully visible. Okay, so let's go back here and then unshow the formula, and then select the table and double click again there to make sure that the contents are fully visible. And then this one must be portrait. Okay, and then remember it is currently in landscape, so go to file and then print, and then make it in portrait and let it fit on a single page. So fit sheet on one page. Now guys, the other thing that you've not been told here is that you've not been told to put the rows and column headings. But when you work with Excel, from this step, Excel assumes every working from henceforth will have the column headings after you modify the column and row heading here. But here we've not been told to put the column and row heading. Okay, so that is very important, guys, that you remove the column and row headings from there. Okay, so go to page setup. Remember, we don't need these column and row headings. Go to sheet and then uncheck this one so that you don't have these rows and column headings. Then the next thing that you need to do now is to go ahead and actually print this file. Okay, so next step, the customer has changed one item in the order. Instead of 5 roadster 3 cycles, they now require 10. Update the invoice. So go back here. Instead of 5 roadster, we had 5. They now require so the other thing, guys, that I forgot to say is select first of all the table. Remember, check that this column heading actually is not fully visible. Okay, so what you need to do is to select the table and then double click on the boundaries of the cells so that you have this fully visible, and then go ahead and print that step that wanted us to print this. I'm sorry about that, but I needed to just clarify that one. Okay, so the next thing we want roadster 3. Instead of 5, there should be 10. Click 10 to update, and it automatically updates. So the next step, they say once you do the update, save and print the invoice showing the values. Make sure that the printer fits a single page and the contents are fully visible. So the contents are fully visible. If you're not sure if they are fully visible, just select the table, click on the boundaries of the table of the individual columns. Okay, click on the boundaries and it will adjust automatically. And then go ahead, print, go to file, print, and then make sure it fits on a single table, which means fit sheet on one page, and then print. It should be portrait and then print. Okay, next step, your manager would like to see the effects of changing the discount on the invoice. Change the discount percentage rates to discount A 7%, discount B 12%, discount C 18%. So guys, there are a number of ways that you can go ahead and work around this here. What you can do, you can convert 7% into decimal, which is 0.07. You can convert 12% and all. The other alternative that you can do, which is, in my case, I find it very easy, just highlight this, put equal sign 12%, like that. But the first one is supposed to be 7%, like that. Hit enter. The next one is supposed to be 12%. Hit enter. It's supposed to be equal to 12%. Then hit enter, and then the last one is supposed to be equal to 18%, and hit enter. Now you automatically notice that 12% is actually showing as 12%, and it's not showing as decimal like the other ones. Well, it's not difficult to change this one. Just go to home, go to number, and make this one a number. Okay, select number and say okay, and you will see that well, I needed to make it with decimal places, sorry. Okay, so it's showing here 0 decimal places. It needs to be 2 decimal places, and say okay, and you see that it will be 0.12, just like the other ones are decimals. So once this is done, then we need just to save and print the invoice showing the values, and we make sure that it fits on a single page, and then the contents are fully visible. Okay, So just go on File. Well, to make sure the contents are fully visible, just select this, double click again here, and then go to File, and then Print, and then print this one. Okay, so I hope this was printed in portrait and not landscape. Okay, it's portrait. Okay, that should be fine. Okay, so guys, this marks the end to the Excel section. I don't know how much time I've used so much time, and yeah, I've used 49 minutes, almost 50 minutes. I'm sorry it has been very long, but I needed to do this so that I just work continuously without really wasting so much time. Okay, so let me now start recording the web authoring section. We'll start in the next few minutes. We'll start to look at step 27. Okay, so guys, thank you so much, and practice, and all the best in your exam tomorrow.